Welcome to Independent Clothing Initiative, a sewing channel. I'm Jill Haggerty and I'm so happy you're here today. We are gearing up to sew together. So today, to get a little bit closer to that goal, we're going to learn about the parts of a sewing machine. Let's go. I want to talk real quickly about three tips, you guys. 1, 2, 3. 3 tips that will really help you dive deep today. Those 3 things are: 1, take your sewing machine out of the box. Raymond Lindquist said, "Courage is the power to let go of the familiar." This is my old machine. I was so afraid to move to something new, to have to learn a whole new way of doing things, that I just left it in the box and missed out on the opportunities and the amazing features of this new machine. Whether you have an old machine, a new machine, you own the machine, or maybe it's your grandmother's, take it out of the box. There's no way you're going to get familiar with your sewing machine and progress in your sewing journey unless you just take that leap. Reset, readjust, refocus, restart as many times as you need. Really, sewing isn't about perfection, it's about the journey. The second tip is to label places in your box where different parts of your sewing machine go. I want to show you. In my box, this is actually for my serger, but I have labeled in marker where my foot pedal goes, so I know where to put it back, where the wire that holds the threads up away from the machine goes, where the bobbin holder goes. These labels here help me put it easily back into the box. As somebody that moves a lot, it is easiest for me to get my machine from point A to point B in a box. There are many other ways to protect your machine, which might include a hard case that my kids have loved on, such as this, or a soft case, which I also actually have inside. Easy to travel, easy to move with, easy to get to all the time, just left out like this. Set your machine up for whatever will help you be most successful, and get sewing. Third tip, become friends with your manual. How many times do we like to skip reading a manual? I've done it multiple times. But in the case of your sewing machine, your manual will become your best friend. Use it, put it in a place that is easy to reach and handy. Don't be afraid to open it up. It will help you more than you realize. The machine I use now is a Juki HZL-600. This is a great machine. It's a mid-level machine. It's affordable, sturdy. It can handle all different kinds of fabrics, including leather. It's a really great machine for my purposes at home. Before I had this machine, I had this one. It's an Elna 2110. It's the most basic of the Elna series. Today, we'll look at both of these different machines as we look and learn together the parts of a sewing machine. Don't eat this. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, here is a list of the different parts of a sewing machine that we'll be covering today. First, real quick, I want to remind you of what today's video is not. Today's video is not a tutorial on how to use each of the different parts of your machine. We will cover that over time as we move forward. But today is an overview of the different parts of your machine so that you can start to become familiar with the terminology, and you can also start to become excited as you learn and get to know your machine better. First, each machine has a reverse knob. All the reverse knob does is help your stitches to go backwards. Going backwards and forwards with your stitches will help to lock your stitches in place. Second, case is a place within your machine that will hold your bobbin. This is your bobbin. Your bobbin is wound with thread, and today, machines come with various ways of storing your bobbin within the machine. Some are a little more complicated than others. This is a great time to refer to your manual on how your bobbin is placed within your machine. This thread will be used to complete a stitch on the underside of a garment. Third, every machine has a foot pedal. A foot pedal is kind of like the pedal of a car. It's what you use to control the speed and movement of the machine. Just like a car, if you give it a little more gas, it will move a little faster. And if you let up, the stitches will come out slower. Fourth, needle plate is directly below the needle of your machine. This often has rulers and guides to help you along the way to make the appropriate size stitches that you are looking for. The needle plate is directly below the needle and surrounding the needle. It has guides on it to help you when you're sewing to get the exact distance of stitch that you want from the edge of your garment to where you're stitching. It is usually or oftentimes removable if you're putting the bobbin right below the needle. Fifth, feed dogs look like little teeth, and they're located right below the pressure foot. Feed dogs. Feed dogs are, one, really fun to say. My machine has feed dogs. And two, they're a really important part of any machine. A feed dog is what helps move your fabric through the machine. Sometimes, though, with certain fabrics, perhaps really thin fabrics or fabrics that could get caught within the feed dog, you're not going to want to use those, and you will manually want to move your fabric through the machine, in which case each machine has a way to lower or disable the feed dogs. 6. Stitch selector. Each machine has a method for selecting stitches. Using the stitch selector will enable you to find the stitch that you want to use for your specific project. 7. Thread guide. A thread guide on any machine helps you to move your thread through the machine from the spool of thread to the needle. 8. The bobbin winding spindle is used to wind your bobbin. Each machine winds a bobbin a little different. Again, this is a great time to refer to your manual for your specific machine. 9. The hand wheel is great to use when you're starting and stopping any project or when you're slowly moving around a corner. Raising and lowering the pressure foot is done by turning the wheel towards you. 10. Pressure foot is placed down, squeezing the fabric between the feed dogs and the foot with the pressure foot lever. That is usually behind the machine. Sometimes it will be on the side, and it is what controls your foot from going up and down. 11. Take-up lever is an important part of threading your machine. It moves as you press your foot pedal, going up and down through the fabric. 12. Tension is controlled a little bit different on every machine, and tension is the relationship between your spool thread and your bobbin thread. When you have that tension just right, then your machine will sew beautifully. If it is puckering or pulling or looks loopy, your threads aren't tight enough, then tension is a good place to go and check. 13. This is called a spool spindle. It is where you put the thread that you are currently using. Each machine, again, will look a little different. This one, you lift it up and put it here. 14. This is the needle on your machine. There are many different kinds of needles that you can put on your machine depending on the type of fabric that you're working with. Okay, that's it.
That's it.
I hope you were able to gain a little bit more confidence in learning the different terminology and getting to know your machine a little bit better. Maya Angelou said, "You can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have." Isn't that so true? Let's explode our creativity together. Maya Angelou said, "Do the best you can until you know better. Then, when you know better, do better." I'm excited to do better with you as we move forward into using our machines and getting started on our projects.